What if you walked for hours and ended up back where you started? You think you know your city, the shortcuts, the hidden gems, the streets you've walked 1,000 times. But what if one of those streets wasn't what it seemed? What if it was playing by a different set of rules? You're about to see something that will make you question the very ground beneath your feet. It starts with a single, unassuming street in Manila, a place called Calle Perdido, the Lost Street. The name sounds like something out of a ghost story, a local legend whispered to spook tourists. But this isn't a story. This is a warning backed by digital evidence that no one can explain. And it's happening right now. It all began with a series of strange reports to local authorities. People calling in, confused and disoriented. They'd say they were lost, but when asked for their location, they'd describe the exact street they started on hours earlier. A delivery driver, trying to make a quick drop-off, found himself passing the same graffiti-covered wall 6 times in a row. A young woman jogging her usual route felt like she was running on a treadmill, the scenery never changing. At first, these were dismissed. Prank calls, people who had too much to drink, urban fatigue. But the calls kept coming. They were all from the same area, a 3-block stretch of Calle Perdido in the heart of the city. The police were tired of the calls, so they decided to check the local CCTV network, hoping to find an explanation. Maybe a street performer or a group of pranksters causing the confusion. What they found instead opened a rabbit hole that no one was prepared for. Imagine watching a security camera feed. It's grainy, black and white, time-stamped in the corner. You see people walking. Normal, everyday life. A man in a business suit, a teenager with headphones, a mother pushing a stroller. Nothing seems out of place. But then you keep watching. The man in the suit walks past the camera. 5 minutes later, he walks past again. From the same direction, his pace a little faster, a confused look on his face. The teenager with headphones? She appears at the corner, looks at her phone, walks down the street, and vanishes. 3 minutes later, she's back at the same corner, doing the exact same thing. It's a perfect, seamless loop. The footage was chilling. It showed dozens of people day after day getting caught in this strange, invisible cycle. They walk down the street, disappear around the bend, and then, minutes later, reappear at the beginning, often looking more and more distressed with each pass. It's like watching a corrupted video file. But this is real life. Glitch-style caption flashes on screen. Loop detected. We got our hands on some of this footage, and we spoke to people who claim they've experienced it firsthand. Their stories are even more terrifying than what the cameras show. One man, a student named Marco, told us he was just walking to a friend's house. It was a 10-minute walk he'd made hundreds of times. But on this day, something was wrong. I remember passing this one specific vendor, an old man selling mangoes, he said, his voice trembling even now. I nodded at him. I walked for what felt like 15, maybe 20 minutes. The street just kept going. The buildings looked the same cracks in the pavement. I thought I was going crazy. Then I saw him again. The mango vendor, in the exact same spot. He looked at me and nodded, as if I had just walked up. But my watch said 2 hours had passed. 2 hours to walk 1 block. He called it lost time. He wasn't the only one. Another testimony came from a woman named Ilara. She was visiting family and decided to explore the neighborhood. It was a beautiful day, she recounted, her eyes distant. I was taking pictures. I walked down this one street, Calle Perdido. It felt quiet, too quiet, like the sounds of the city were muffled. I walked and walked. I felt a strange sense of déjà vu, like I'd seen that same chipped paint on a door, that same broken flower pot on a windowsill. I checked my phone for directions. The GPS dot was frozen. It wouldn't move. I started to panic. I turned around to go back the way I came. But the street behind me looked different, unfamiliar. So I kept walking forward, thinking I had to come out somewhere. I must have walked for an eternity. When I finally saw a familiar landmark, it was the cafe where I had started my walk. I stumbled inside, exhausted. The barista looked at me, concerned. She said I had been gone for almost 4 hours. I only remembered walking for 30 minutes. For every person who experiences it and speaks out, how many others get caught and dismiss it as a bad dream? How many tourists get lost, miss their flights, and never understand why? The footage shows it. The testimonies confirm it. Calle Perdido is not a normal street. It's a trap, a glitch in the matrix, a place where time and space fold in on themselves. But why? How is this possible? Locals have their own theories. Some say the street is haunted, cursed by a historical tragedy that replays itself forever. Others whisper about a strange magnetic field under the asphalt, a geological anomaly that distorts human perception and electronic devices. These are folk tales, attempts to explain the unexplainable. But there's another theory, one that is far more sinister. And it doesn't involve ghosts or magnets. It involves us, our own government. Let's be clear, this is moving into conspiracy territory. But when the official explanation is silence, you have to start connecting the dots yourself. Look at the patterns. The loop seems to affect a very specific, contained area. It doesn't spill over into neighboring streets. It's almost surgically precise. This doesn't sound like a natural phenomenon. It sounds like something designed, controlled. Think about it. What would be the most valuable, most terrifying weapon imaginable? Not a bomb, not a missile. The ability to control time itself. To create a localized field where time is dilated, where minutes stretch into hours. Imagine deploying that in a conflict. An enemy soldier thinks they're advancing for 5 minutes, but in reality, hours have passed, and their reinforcements are long gone. A political dissident is detained, walks down a hallway for what feels like an hour, and emerges days later, completely disoriented and broken, with no memory of what happened. It sounds like science fiction, but the technology for warping space-time, for creating temporal distortions, is the holy grail of advanced physics. And governments around the world have been secretly pouring billions into these kinds of black projects for decades. What if Calle Perdido is a testing ground? A live, urban field experiment. The perfect cover. A busy, chaotic city where a few disoriented people would go unnoticed. The CCTV cameras, meant for security, become the perfect data collection tools for the experimenters. They can monitor the effects in real time. Observe how different people react to the temporal distortion. See how long it takes for panic to set in. Tweak the parameters of the field. The lost time, the malfunctioning GPS, the sense of déjà vu. These aren't random glitches. They are symptoms. The side effects of a technology we aren't supposed to know exists. The people walking in circles on that street aren't just lost. They are lab rats in the most audacious experiment in human history. We reached out to government officials for comment. We sent them the footage. We shared the testimonies. The response? Complete and utter silence. No denial, no confirmation, just a digital void. And that silence is more terrifying than any admission. This isn't just a story about a weird street in Manila. This is a question about the reality we live in. We trust our senses. We trust our clocks. We trust that a step forward moves us forward in space and time. But Calle Perdido proves that trust can be broken. The world might not be as solid as it seems. There could be pockets, hidden in plain sight, where the rules are different, where unseen forces are at play, conducting experiments with our lives and our perception of reality. The footage is out there, the stories are real, and the street is still open. People are walking down it right now, completely unaware that they might be stepping into a loop, a glitch they may never understand. The only thing left to ask is, now that you know the truth, now that you've seen the evidence, would you dare walk it?